Hi, everyone. This is a video. Of course, it's a video. It's a video on 25 bands and some solo artists that I I don't have in my CD collection right now. And there's actually, I think, four of the 25 I've never had in my CD or vinyl collection throughout the years. So most of these I've had at some point in my life, at least one album. So let's go through them and kind of curious which ones, once you see all of the artists, which ones do you think I need in my CD collection? So first up is Metallica. I like Metallica. I've never had anything against them. Their music is good. Um, and once in a while they'll have a new album out and I'll buy it and I'll enjoy it. But then I just never play it. And it's happened probably two or three times. So I don't have any Metallica in my CD collection. But like I said, I don't mind them. They're not my favorite, but next up, Aerosmith. Yeah, I love early Aerosmith. Toys in the Attic, I used to have on vinyl and CD years ago. And I wouldn't mind it in my collection again. That's about, and I do like some of their other songs, but like a lot of the early Aerosmith fans, I didn't really care much for their later albums. But through the years, I would buy, like I bought Pump and probably Permanent Vacation. But right now, I don't have any Aerosmith in my collection. But I'd love to have Toys in the Attic again, for sure. This one's going to hurt Morris Gotro, one of my viewers. Uh, he's a huge, I think Tool is his favorite band, I believe. And then Sparks and King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. And I like Tool. This was the first album by Tool I bought when it came out. I had the deluxe, you open it up and there's a movie that plays. It was pretty cool. And so I enjoyed this album. And then I bought, I think, three or four more of their more Tool albums. And then just, after a year or so, or a bit more than a year, I just realized I don't like them as much as I thought. And I never played the albums, but they are a good band, just not for me, I guess. Fleetwood Mac Rumors, excellent album. I don't even need it in my collection. I played it so much, on vinyl and on CD back in the day. My favorite is Tusk. And then after Tusk, I never bought any of the later albums or the earlier ones. But Rumors and Tusk, I wouldn't mind having back in my CD collection, but they're not there at the moment. And the thing is, too, I have hundreds of CDs, and I know other people that collect music have thousands. But even the hundreds of CDs I have, there's so many that I never get around to playing. They sit in there year after year. So if I bought Rumors, I might play it once, and then I don't need to listen to it again for 5 years. The Tragically Hip. I had Tragically Hip CDs. Um, I think their music is great. I do have their final concert on Blu-ray. Yeah, Blu-ray. And it's kind of hard to watch because it was the final show. Uh, but once again, I'm Canadian. I should have them in my collection. I feel guilty. I'm sorry. It's also for certain people that pass away, it's also hard. And there's another one coming up. It's kind of hard to listen to some of them. It's just kind of sad in a way. Blondie, I loved Parallel Lines. I bought that on vinyl. I don't think I had it on CD, but I wouldn't mind that in my collection. But once again, I play it maybe once or twice, and then it might just, sit in my collection for a few years till I play it again. But Blondie's great. And the Go-Go's. I remember buying this on vinyl when it was released. Really liked it. It's the only Go-Go's album I bought. The second one they made actually featured a song by Ron and Russell Mael of Sparks, but I never bought the album. But it was a very good album. Great memories. I know. I'm ashamed of myself. Tom Petty. I get requests on Patreon for Tom Petty songs. I almost always give them either an A plus, an A, or an A minus. I've never heard a bad Tom Petty song. And I had that on vinyl. And yeah, I had his greatest hits at one point. But like I said, even though I love his songs, I would never play the CD. So I don't have any CDs by Tom Petty at the moment. But he's one of the greats. As some of you know, I was a huge U2 fan from 1984 until about maybe 12 years ago or more. Around the time they gave the free album to iTunes, it just really kind of turned me off. Plus, I wasn't enjoying the later albums as much. But I don't have any U2. I was so, I don't know, so fed up with them. I sold all of my U2 albums, and I still don't kind of regret it, even though uh, I still love that music from that time. Uptown Baby is my favorite U2 album. And maybe someday I'll buy it again, but the thing is, too, I played it so many times, it's ingrained in my brain. So, yeah, Nirvana, that's the other one with Kurt's passing. It was just such a shock. I had the two albums, the final two albums, and I really enjoyed them, but I just can't listen to the albums anymore because of what happened. Just too sad. Rush, yes, once again, how I'm ashamed of myself. I don't have any Rush in my CD collection at the moment. I've had quite a few Rush albums throughout the years, off and on vinyl and CD. And once again, I would enjoy them, but I just wouldn't return to play them that often. So, but they're one of the greats. ZZ Top. I had them on vinyl. I bought the box set of all their CDs, which was great. And I just, in time, it took, a year or two. I just kind of realized, you know what? I never play these anymore. Uh, But ZZ Top's great, especially, the early years. Bruce Springsteen, my favorite album of his is Tunnel of Love. I had that on vinyl and CD. I don't know why I sold it. Um, Born to Run is great. Wasn't as much of a fan of some of the other albums like The River, but I would love to have Tunnel of Love again in my CD collection. R.E.M., my favorite R.E.M. album, the only one. Oh, I also had Monster, which I really liked. And once again, I don't have them in my collection, but I would love to get Automatic for the People again, and maybe even Monster at some point. Heart. I I'm not sure if I had that on vinyl, but I had Dog and Butterfly on vinyl, which I really liked, and then that was about it. Then they went way too commercial for me, so just not a big fan of Heart overall. But I love, like Magic Man and a couple of the other hits like Barracuda. Prince, yeah, I used to have Prince on vinyl and CD. That's probably my favorite of the Prince albums I've heard, and I wouldn't mind having it again on CD. And Purple Rain, one of the greats. The Cure, yeah. I had Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Disintegration, maybe a couple more of their albums around that time, and I like them. I would say half of their stuff I'm not crazy about, and the other half I really love. And they made the best videos. Peter Gabriel. I I'm a fan of the first three albums, and I wouldn't mind having them again. I had them on vinyl, and at some point I had them on CD. But after after the third album, like I never bought Security or any of the later albums. I just kind of lost interest in him, but I loved him in Genesis. Van Halen, I bought that on vinyl the year it was released, and I think I bought their final album, uh, but it wasn't in my collection for long. But their debut album is one of the great debut albums, and I wouldn't mind having it again on CD. Ringo, that's right. The Beatles are my favorite band, and I love the Ringo album and a couple of his other early ones, and I had it, of course, on vinyl, and I had it on CD, but I would just, never play it. It would sit in my collection year after year. But great memories and a great album. The Cars. I had the Cars box set of all their albums. And once again, I enjoyed them. But then as the years go by, I would never be even tempted to listen to them. So I don't have any Cars in my collection now. Okay, these are the last, I think, four are artists I've never had in my vinyl or CD collection. Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think they're okay. I love the fact that Flea is a big fan of Sparks, but and he's a great bassist. Good band, but just not just not for me. Steve Hackett on one of our album exchanges with Glenn Kellaway from the Basement. He gave me The Night Siren. I loved it. And I still want to get that album on CD and maybe some other ones by him. He's one of the greats for sure for guitar work. Two more. April Wine, another Canadian band I've never owned. I love their hit singles. but I've never had them on vinyl or CD. And the last one, yes, Tom Waits. Shame on me again. And I've done reactions on my Patreon. I've listened to Rain Dogs on Patreon, the full album. The two or three I've heard, I really enjoyed. He kind of, I love Randy Newman, so I think it's just I kind of missed him through the years. I never got into him, but I think he's very talented, and I wouldn't mind an album or two or three, but I've just never had them in my collection. And that is it. So which of these artists do you think it's the biggest shame I don't have anything by them in my collection? You can say, shame on you, Larry, and then let me know which artists. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.